All right, let's dive into something that really affects every single one of us. We're talking about the basic rules of a fair sale, something you deal with whether you're just grabbing a coffee or making a huge purchase.
And be honest, have you ever been in this situation? You buy something, you get it home, you're all excited, and then that little sinking feeling hits. It's just not what you thought it would be. We've all been there. But the real question is, when that happens, is it always on you?
Well, to figure that out, we actually have to go way back. It turns out there's this ancient Latin principle that's been the foundation of commerce for, forever, and it sets the stage for who's responsible when a deal goes south.
And here it is. The principle is called Caveat Emptor. It sounds pretty formal, I know, but trust me, we're going to break down exactly what this means for you, the modern shopper.
So what is it? Caveat emptor literally translates to let the buyer beware. And it's not just some old saying, it's baked into law, like in the Sale of Goods Act. The core idea is that the person doing the buying, that's you, is responsible for checking out the goods before they buy. A seller doesn't legally have to point out every little flaw.
Basically, the starting point is that you're expected to use your own brain. You know, ask questions, give the item a good look over, and make sure it's what you want before you pay for it. The burden is on you.
But wait a minute, does that feel totally fair? Especially now with super complex gadgets and buying things online where you can't even touch them first? Are you really supposed to be completely on your own? Well, thankfully, the law says not quite.
And this is where it gets really important. Because while buyer beware is the general rule, there are some huge exceptions, moments where all that responsibility flips right back onto the seller.
You see, Caveat Emptor isn't a get-out-of-jail-free card for sellers. The law knows that a sale is a two-way street, and it gives you, the buyer, some pretty powerful protections when things go wrong.
So when is the seller on the hook? Well, think about these key situations. If the product is totally different from how it was described, that's on them. If you told them exactly what you needed it for and it doesn't do the job, that's on them too. If they showed you a sample and what you got is worse, yep, their problem. And of course, if they straight up lie to you, that's fraud and they are absolutely responsible.
Okay, that might seem like a lot to juggle in your head when you're just trying to buy something. But don't worry, there's a fantastic little tool to help you remember your rights.
It's just 3 letters, DFS. Think of it as your personal protection toolkit. It stands for description, fitness, and sample. Super easy to remember.
Let's run through it one more time. D is for description. Did you get what was advertised? F is for fitness. Is it fit for the specific purpose you mentioned? You know, like, I need a phone that works on the 5G network. And S is for sample. Does the final product match the quality of the demo model you were shown? Easy, right?
Now, all this theory is great, but let's see how it plays out in the real world. A quick story about buying a smartphone should make this whole thing crystal clear.
This side-by-side just nails it. Okay, on the left, that's buyer beware. You go in, buy a smartphone, don't ask about the network, and later find out it's not 5G. Bummer, but that's on you. You didn't check. But look at the right side. You walk in and you specifically ask for a 5G phone. The seller knows this but sells you a 4G waddle anyway. Boom! Now they are liable because the phone was not fit for your stated purpose. That is the F&DFS in action.
So why do we just go through all this? A Latin term, legal exceptions. What's the point? It's simple. Understanding this balance of power is what turns you into an empowered consumer.
Seriously, knowledge is power here. When you get that it's both your job to be careful and your right to hold sellers accountable, the whole game changes. You're not just crossing your fingers and hoping for the best anymore. You're shopping from a position of strength. So if you remember anything, remember this. A sale is a partnership, a two-way street. Always, always keep your DFS rights in your back pocket. Be specific about what you need. The more info you give the seller, the more protected you are. And finally, if a seller doesn't hold up their end of the bargain, don't be afraid to speak up and hold them accountable.
And that leaves me with one last question for you to think about. Armed with this knowledge, the next time you're about to buy something, how will you do it differently? What are you going to ask? Something to chew on. Thanks for tuning in.